The U.S. side has abused export control measures, imposing even stricter restrictions on Chinese chip products under unfounded accusations. This has seriously harmed the legitimate rights and interests of Chinese enterprises. It poses a grave threat to the stability of the global semiconductor production and supply chain, and severely undermines market rules and the international economic and trade order.
The trade war between the US and China has taken a new turn, this time over artificial intelligence chips. On May 19th, Beijing lashed out at Washington's latest move to curb the use of Chinese semiconductors by American companies, particularly those related to advanced AI and chip manufacturing. This after the US Commerce Department recently issued new guidance, warning firms not to use Chinese AI chips, including Huawei's Ascend series. China's Ministry of Commerce responded sharply, urging the US to immediately correct its wrongdoings and end its discriminatory measures. Officials in Beijing claim that the US is abusing export control rules and undermining global trade norms in the name of national security. The ministry said these actions seriously violated agreements reached during high-level talks in Geneva just weeks ago.
The U.S. side has abused export control measures, imposing even stricter restrictions on Chinese chip products under unfounded accusations. This has seriously harmed the legitimate rights and interests of Chinese enterprises. It poses a grave threat to the stability of the global semiconductor production and supply chain, and severely undermines market rules and the international economic and trade order. China urges the U.S. side to immediately correct its wrongful actions. We will also take firm measures to safeguard the legitimate rights and interests of Chinese enterprises.
Those talks had resulted in a surprise 90-day tariff truce, seen by many as a fragile breakthrough in U.S.-China economic ties. Beijing also argued that these chip restrictions will backfire by hurting America's own industrial competitiveness. The backlash comes days after China's Vice Commerce Minister Li Qiangang met U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer in South Korea. That meeting was seen as a follow-up to the Geneva breakthrough, which had aimed to scale back tariff rates on both sides.
Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation is called to order. Welcome to our witnesses. Thank you for joining us this morning. As a matter of economic security, as a matter of national security, America has to beat China in the AI race. China has made AI central to its national strategy, and China aims to lead the world in AI by 2030.
We are a U.S. headquartered semiconductor company.
Harmful regulations take many forms. Biden's misguided midnight AI diffusion rule on chips and model weights would have crippled American tech companies' ability to sell AI to the world. The Biden plan would have handed over key markets to China.
At state levels.
If you could turn on the volume.
Sorry about that.
And I do enjoy telling techies how to operate the tech.
Pretty embarrassing that I couldn't figure that out.
Even on this side of the dais that's proposing a sort of
investment in infrastructure is critical. I believe the next decade will be about abundant intelligence and abundant energy, making sure that America leads in both of those, that we are able to usher in these dual revolutions that will change the world we live in, I think in incredibly positive ways, is critical.
But also making sure that we are watching out for ethics.
AI is truly the most transformative technology of our time. The United States leads today, but what I would like to say is it is a race. Leadership is absolutely not guaranteed. It's a global race that will shape the outcome of national security and economic prosperity for many decades to come. Now, maintaining our lead actually requires excellence at every layer of the stack. So I'm really honored to be here with my panelists as well. We have deep partnerships with Microsoft and OpenAI that demonstrate how you need silicon, you need software, you need systems, and really the application layer to be successful.
In the race for AI, who's winning, America or China?
It's very hard to say how far ahead we are, but I would say not a huge amount of time. And I think to continue that leadership position and the influence that comes with that, and all of the incredible benefits of the world using American technology products and services, the things that my colleagues have spoken about here, the need to win in infrastructure, sensible regulation that does not slow us down.
I think the United States has a lead today in what is a close race, and a race that will likely remain close. The number one factor that will define whether the United States or China wins this race is whose technology is most broadly adopted in the rest of the world. This is a global market, and it will be defined, as technology markets typically are, by network effects. 18% of the people in the world live in China, 4% live in the United States, 78% live somewhere else. The lesson from Huawei and 5G is whoever gets there first will be difficult to supplant. We need to export with the right kinds of controls. We need to win the trust of the rest of the world. We need to have the financial architecture that gets not only to the countries that are industrialized, but the nations, say, across Africa, where typically China and Huawei have done so well.
Meanwhile, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt faced questions over who would bear the cost of Trump's proposed tariffs. Her remarks appeared to contradict Trump's own claim that American retailers like Walmart will eat the tariff costs.
Last week, Lutnick said people have to drop the, quote, silly arguments that consumers would pay the cost. But over the weekend, as you know, the president posted that Walmart should eat the tariffs and not charge the value customer anything. I'll be watching, and so will your customers. So does he acknowledge that if companies don't absorb the full cost, Americans will have to pay?
Well, first of all, the CEO of Walmart made those comments about the tariffs on an earnings call where CEOs, I believe, are legally obligated to give the most dire warnings and forecasts to their investors and stakeholders. The reality is, as the president has always maintained, Chinese producers will be absorbing the cost of these tariffs. And that is why China was so quick to hustle to the negotiating table with the United States of America. They need our markets, they need our consumers. And I would again point you to the inflation report that came out last week, showing that inflation is declining, in large part because energy prices are dropping across the board in this country because of the president's robust energy agenda that he has taken since January 20th. So the president is committed to ensuring that prices remain low for American consumers, and he maintains the position that foreign countries will absorb these tariffs.
What does he mean by "I'll be watching" to Walmart?
He'll be watching, seeing what they're doing.